Okay, for 58, they want us to look at the tile patterns and then write its area as a product of width and length and as a sum of its parts, right? So they want us to write it as width times length, whatever the width times the length is, and then they want us to write it as the sum of the parts. Okay, so let's make these bigger, right, since we now know what we need to do, right? So let's label the sides, the length and the width. So this length right here, from here to here, that's x. And then these are ones, 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 the length. So this side is x plus 3, right? And then the top over here, this length right here is an x, right? That's an x. And this is a 1, so this is x plus 1, right? So writing the area as the length times width, we would have the area equals x plus 3 times x plus 1, right? The length times the width. Now there's two ways we can get the area represented as the sum of its parts, right? We could multiply x plus 3 times x plus 1, or we can add up all of these, right? So if I were going to add them up, this is an x squared, this is an x, this is a 1, a 1, a 1, this is an x, and this is an x. So we could just write it as x squared, right? And then I count my x's, 1, 2, 3, 4, plus 4x, and then 1, 2, 3, plus 3, right? I could add all of these, that I just labeled, all those up. But we should know how to multiply by now, so I'm going to take the x times the x and get x squared, and then the x times the 1, right, and get x. And then we're going to do the 3 times the x and get 3x, and then the 3 times the 1 and get 3. And these are like terms, and we get x squared plus 1x plus 3x is 4x plus 3. So there it is as the sum of its parts, and here it is as the product of length and width. So we could do the same thing for b, right? This side right here, this is an x, right? This is a 1 and a 1, so this side is x plus 2. And then this side over here, or the top, sorry, this is an x, this is an x, and this is a 1, so that's 2 x's plus 1. So the area written as the product of length and width is 2x plus 1 times x plus 2. And now we could add up all the, right, this is x squared, this is x squared. So I could just now add up everything I see. I have 2x squared tiles, 2x squares. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 x's, 5 x's, and I have 2 1's, right? So we could write it that way just by adding, what we had outlined over here, right? Add up every one of those tiles. But again, we should know how to multiply this. So I'm going to take the 2x times the x and get 2x squared. The 2x times the 2 and get 4x. Now we do the 1 times the x, and we get x. And the 1 times the 2, and we get 2. These are like terms, and we get 2x squared plus 5x plus 2. So this is written as the sum of its parts. This is written as the product of length times width.